I'm Neil Priest and welcome to Dreaming of Chess Mastery. I guess one difficulty the adult improver has to face is where to start, what to study. There's this wealth of information out there, and indeed, if you're anything like me, there's a wealth of information tucked away on your bookshelves and available to you on your computer. Where do you begin? And it's a real problem. My initial sort of solution to the problem was, of course, to do some research. The inevitable internet rabbit hole of book reviews and vlogs showing people's book collections and what they've studied and what you should do and where to go next. And it's an endless cycle, which gives you the feeling that you've made some progress. You discover new books that you really would like to study, new resources, but of course you're not actually studying them. You're just thinking about studying them, and therein lies the problem. Apparently, there's all sorts of psychological research into this, and when we're making revision timetables or study schedules or considering the options, we sort of get a little dopamine hit. We have a little part of our brain which flashes that we've made some progress and we feel satisfied, even though we haven't really advanced our learning one jot. So what I thought I'd do in this video is end the discussion once and for all. And I want to tell you the one book that you absolutely must study if you're to improve. A secret, so to speak. And you're getting it for free here on Dreaming of Chess Mastery. And I really do believe that what I'm going to tell you is the solution to that problem of where to begin and the endless procrastination dressed up as researching study methods. You ready? Here goes. You know what that one book is. Okay, I'm building up the tension here. You know what it is. If you look on your bookshelf, there's a book that's speaking to you, and it says, you'd learn something if you studied me. And your book might be different to my book because you have a different library to me and different needs, or at least a feeling that you have different needs. And later on I'm going to investigate that in some detail. But for the time being, you look at your bookshelf and there's there is a book that cries out to you and says, read me, study me. You might have had it for some time. Now I'm going to reach over to my right hand side, and here it is for me. Bent Larson's Good Move Guide. I've had this book, I would say, since the mid-80s, so 35 plus years. It's a wonderful little book. 4 sections. There's 100 sort of tactical puzzles at the beginning of it, and the last section is 60 endgame problems. They're really tactical solutions or calculation solutions to an endgame position. And I've played through, I've read and sort of solved them blindfolded, those 2 sections. But it's the in-between 2 sections. One is called Find the Plan, which is 48 positions where you have to think about and devise a sort of strategic solution, a plan for one or other of the participants in the position you've been given. And then there's 40 games, which are those sort of solitaire, guess the move type of games. And the book actually is highly recommended. If you do your internet deep dive, you'll probably come across that people allege that this is actually a book that Magnus studied as a child. And if it's good enough for arguably the greatest player of all time, surely it's good enough for us. And it's certainly good enough for me. But the truth of the matter is, I've looked at those two sections, and I might have done one or two, but I have never systematically studied all 48 of the Find Your Plans positions. I think that's the one. The book was originally released as 4 different pamphlets or chapters, and I think that was the Find Your Plan was what Magnus studied as a boy, in a Danish edition that he came across. I suppose Danish, Norwegian, that was no problem for him. In English, it was released by, I think, Oxford. I'm not going to check now. It was released by Oxford Publications, and as one slim volume full of interesting things to study. Now, I don't for a moment suggest that this book is the solution to all my problems as an improving adult, but I've looked at the book over the years and thought it would be a good idea to study it, and I haven't studied it. 48 problems, positions, and let's say I gave each position 20 minutes of thought and 40 minutes of reflection, analysis, playing through his solution and considering alternatives, perhaps even running it by an engine, because certainly Bent Larsen never did that. That wasn't an option available to him 40, 50 years ago when he first wrote the book. So essentially 48 hours of work, maybe 4 months of study. And I'm not suggesting that when I say this is the book that I must study, that it is the very best book out there to meet my needs in terms of improving my positional understanding. But I do strongly say this is the book I must study. So why this one and not find the ideal book for me? Well, the answer is that this pursuit of the sort of silver bullet book, the one that will solve all my problems, is a never-ending game of diminishing marginal returns. And it's a trap, because you end up looking over and thinking about and considering all sorts of possibilities, and there's no end in sight. And actually what you need to do is you need to study something. Whether it's the best thing or not, it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's clear that you need to study something that is of some value, but there's no doubt this book is of some value, that I will learn something. But the really fantastic thing is that if I study this book, Bent Larsen's Good Move Guide, I will have made a start. And if I study it systematically, I will have made a start finding out how I can incorporate systematic study of chess into my life. And that's the secret. So if you look at your bookshelf, there will be a book that you think, I always meant to study that book in detail. And there will be a very clear way you can approach it. Don't set yourself up for some kind of master plan, but do set yourself up for something that you can pursue over some period between 1 to 4 months, where you can schedule something that is regular and fits into your daily life, and see how it goes. Maybe it won't work out quite as you planned, but commit to, at the very least, a 3-month period. I was about to say, well, a 2 to 3 month period. But let's say 3 months. Kind of like when I was a teacher at the international schools. And both of the international schools where I worked operated on a 4-term system. And you had to sign up for extracurricular activities. And they might be extracurricular activities for a term or for a semester, but you were committed to, once you'd signed up, to going, and you didn't have a choice in the matter, and your tutor would nag you if you didn't. So make that commitment. Pick a book that's been crying out to be read, to be studied, and make a start. And while you're making that start, by all means, carry on thinking, researching about how you're going to build that start into a broader, more elaborate study program. And I'll certainly be making videos talking about that process. But make a start. And you don't have to wait until next week or next month. You don't have to delay until you have it all planned out. You simply need to make a start. Pick up the book, find a position, look at it, and do something. And I'm going to make a commitment right now that along with the blogging that I've been doing on chess.com, I'm going to show you the position and make some sort of comment on a regular basis to define the plan, Bent Larson's Good Move Guide. I will probably be a little bit sketchy. I certainly won't infringe any kind of copyright, but I'll give you an idea how that's going, and I'll show you the position. And perhaps you might get hold of a copy yourself. It's not an expensive book, and it's definitely, I think, will be worth your while studying. But it's all about making the start. There's a wonderful expression, action precedes motivation. That's worth a video all on its own. But I think it makes sense to me. We wait to get the motivation, we wait to get the elaborate plan and think that then everything will be fine. When actually what we need to do is just make a start. So the book that you must study is on your shelf. Look at your bookshelf, and one of those books is going to speak to you, and it's going to say, study me. It might be a games collection, it might be a selection of tactical puzzles, it might be a book on the end game. Who knows? But it will speak to you. You will know, when you look at your bookshelf, you will know which one is crying out the loudest. And start studying it. Start studying it today. Now, you might say to me, but Neil, I'm part of the new generation. I've learned chess on the internet. I don't have any chess books. Well then, my friend, we need to address your needs in a separate video, because this video is all about dealing with the sort of psychological traps that one's chess library poses you. Actually, if that is you, if you're in that position where you don't have any chess books, please reach out, get in touch with me, and we can talk about this personally. But if you do have a chess library like me, my friend, do what I say. Join me in taking action. And until the next video, I hope you're safe and well, you're enjoying your chess, and from a sunny Brazil, ciao.